Good morning, everybody, again. Just going to get set up here. That was so beautiful, wasn't it? Wasn't that great? Nancy and Eve. Eve used to be a regular performer at our center, and it's just great to have her vibe back in here. She's just a class act, and I think you can find her in Palm Springs at some of the jazz bars if you want to go find where she is. She's amazing. She's amazing. So when they were singing the song about life and all of the different experiences we have in life, for a moment, I just had to stand and be in awe as I looked at my life and saw all the different things that I've done in it and the different experiences I've had. It's just amazing when we take the time to recognize all that we've done and all the different things that we've been experiencing in our own lives and in the world around us. And I know some of those experiences are less pleasurable than the others, but there is always a treasure in everything that happens in life. And as I was thinking about life, I was thinking about an experience that was a very profound experience in my life. And it began with a phone call at 4 o'clock in the morning. And those are never good. I always pray when my phone rings at 4, somebody's just misdialed or something like that. But this one wasn't like that. It was my sister. And she called to tell me that my mom had had a massive stroke, and I needed to pack a bag and get to Los Angeles because my dad really needed our support, and we didn't know what was going to happen to my mom. And little did I know that my whole reality was going to change for 14 years right after that phone call. Because I stepped up with my sister and we helped my dad take care of my mom. And then when he made his transition, it was up to the 2 girls to take care of her and make her as comfortable and safe as possible. Because she really, the stroke really disabled her, and so she needed always to have help. So my sister and I worked together, and I was constantly going back and forth to Los Angeles. You know how fun that is. Every other weekend, back and forth, and my mom had some health crisis pop up, and so I would take time to spend in LA to be there for the hospitalizations and the surgeries, and just did my all because it was all about love. It was all about love and support. And my mom was really the focus of my life, and I was always on call in case something happened. And one day, after all this caregiving and all this support, my mom made her transition in 2018. And all of a sudden, there was nothing. There was nothing. It was like all that energy I had wrapped up in caring for mom and making sure she was okay and driving back and forth, it was done. It was silence. And you know, I was good with what had happened. I was good with my role I played, and I was good with my mom leaving this planet because her time was done. So I knew that. And I still had my grief to go through, and that's okay. But there was this emptiness. There was no action. Yet I thought there's action that I need to do here because I certainly can't be sitting in a place where there's just no action. And so I asked myself, what do I need to do here? What's the action that I need to move my life or to figure out what's going on here? And that still small voice said, it's really not about doing something outside of yourself. It's about coming to life, which is the name of my talk title. Come to life. And come to life means 2 things. Come to life means coming to your soul, that deep place, that place that we sing about in Get Ready, My Soul, that place that really is beyond anything that's out here. It's a place that you might call it's our God self. It's that place where we have infinite wisdom living within inside of ourselves. It's that place that always has the right answer if we'd only listen to it. And so I realized with my mom leaving, I needed to come back to my soul because I'd been so engaged in this outer, and it was like time to go in. Come to life. Come to the life of my soul that is stirring something up that wants to be lived into. And listen to what that is. The second meaning of come to life is to come in to life. Come into this life that we are in. And it was a time for me to open my eyes and to see with greater clarity what was in my life, what was in my world, what was I doing? And I was doing a lot. But having mom in the center like that, there were things I was missing. And so that was a twofold message for me to come to life. Come to this life and come to this life, because this is a good life. And so this idea of love, of knowing our soul, is something that we teach here. You know, our vision statement is all about remember who you are. And I know we say that every single week, and I always wonder, do people know what that means? Do you know what it means to remember who you are? Do you know who you are at that soul level? And so my action today is to teach you about that, because I think the soul is a really important part of ourselves in living the life that we want to live. If we're not tuned into this, this isn't going to work in an optimum way. We're not going to be living into our heart and what wants to be expressed and what wants to be lived into if we're not connected with this. And by the way, we all have this. We all have a heart. We all have a soul. And the action that I see to get this year off on the right foot is to open up to this and listen to it and let it guide you through life. So my first quote is by Emmett Fox, who says, "A human soul may be thought of as an opening through which infinite energy is seeking a creative outlet." How cool is it to realize that we are all this outlet for creative intelligence and expression to come into this world? When I think back to before I came into this teaching, I realize I have to remember that I didn't believe that at one point. Oh, can you go back? My slide flipped. Or I pushed it, thank you. Okay, I remember I didn't always believe this, and I thought that I was just not this greatness of life. I thought I was just this person who was at the whims of the world and my baggage that I brought into it, and that I was stuck with that. I didn't realize that within me is this immense power that is the allness of life, that is the wholeness of life, and that comes in through my soul action. That's where I can really deliver this greater reality that is unique to me, that is creative, that is so yearning to be given an avenue to come into this world. And we've all got that, and it's so beautiful because every single person is bringing something different to the table. And we need variety. We so need variety. And so to say yes to the action of the soul, to the whispering of the soul, to the desire of the soul is not just allowing us to be who we are and self-expressed. It's allowing the whole world to have this beautiful orchestra of life playing all the time rather than one single note on one single instrument. And I love Emmett Fox. I just bumped into him again. He's a great New Thought writer. If you ever want to just enhance your library, read Emmett Fox. He's great, really wonderful writer. He says this: "You absolutely owe no loyalty whatever to anything or anyone but your own soul and to the furtherance of its spiritual development." And when I was rereading my slides, I was thinking, God, is that going to land harsh with people? You know, it's kind of telling you to be soul-centered or self-centered or centered on you. And I know that can be a real resistance to that. Even when I read it, I go, God, does that mean bless you? Does that mean that I'm selfish and not caring about others? And, you know, Dr. Joe used to teach us that we can't do anything for this world unless we take care of ourselves first. And he had that wonderful analogy about the airplane. You all remember his airplane talk, right? Okay, so we talked about how when the cabin loses pressure and the oxygen masks come down, you've got to put yours on first so you can help other people. And so I look at this quote as being a wake-up call to us to know that your loyalty first and foremost is to listening to your soul and allowing it to express. And it doesn't mean you can't help others or take care of others, because I believe that when we're taking care of our soul, we're opening up to this really great healing energy of our heart. When we're understanding who we are at this spiritual level, we can't help but be this open vessel of divine loving energy that goes out. So it's kind of like learning this new way of seeing ourselves as taking care of the soul, making sure we're doing our thing, that we're in alignment with it, that we've got coherence going on, that we're feeling good, because then we can be that for others as well. So it's a really important way to start switching up the way that we walk into this life, to be reconnected and fully entrenched in our soul purpose and our soul energy. Yep. So then I want to talk about this whole thing about coming into life. I know so many people that have gone through so much loss right now. I hear it, I counsel a lot of people, I see it. And having been through it many times in my life as well, loss is just one of those things that can really derail us and disconnect us from life out here and participating in life. And I am not judging that. I think it's just a natural reaction to loss. We want to kind of curl up and go inside and just kind of sit in a place where we don't have to interact with this outer life because we're in too much pain. And I understand that. And I also understand there's a point where re-engagement is really important. When we've done some healing around our loss, when we've done some coming to peace within ourselves about what's happened, then it's time to start saying, I'm coming into life now. And I love this quote, dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them. And this really sang to my heart because I just thought of this whole idea of feeling really connected with everything in life, that we are it and that we're with all of these wonderful demonstrations that are in form as you and I, as the universe, as the cosmos, as the stars, as your children and grandchildren, as the trees, as the mountains, all of this wonderful energy that is the form that we're dancing with in this life. It really is a dance that we're in. And so for us to come into life fully knowing this wholeness that we carry with us, no matter what's happened in life, there is a wholeness that is always there. You cannot lose that. And so when we can know that wholeness and come into this beautiful life and just see that we are this life, we are the stars, we are all of it, we are the beauty, we are the essence, and we are all one in that. And so to invite ourselves back into life, and even though sometimes it feels a little scary to come back into the flow of life as we are in it here, you know, there's a lot of things that appear scary to us right now, especially. And I know with the whole COVID shutting down and all that stuff we've been through in the last couple of years, we've all gotten very comfortable with not engaging out here in life. And this call to action that is our theme this month and for the year is really calling us to engage again with people and with things that we want to do that we've never done before, of stepping outside of ourselves and trying something that is curious to us or interesting to us or something that's just kind of whispering to us that might be kind of fun to do or expansive. Because all of this staying shut in contracts us. As healing is there, it can be healing, I know, but we have to expand. And I think moving into life allows us to expand to that which is calling us to be in expression with, because we are here to express ourselves. We cannot live in a vacuum. We've got to be connecting and expressing and giving and receiving. It is the nature of who we are. So it brings us to Ernest Holmes, doesn't it always? So Ernest Holmes is all about, obviously, the ability that we have as beings, as human beings, to create life. And we're always creating it. I want to be very clear. We are always creating. It doesn't stop ever. So whatever is your belief system, it is always creating by means of you as you. So it's all about creating from a place of conscious awareness and intent and coming from a place of wholeness. And Ernest says this, man is a threefold principle of life and action. Life and action, one thing, one movement, one energy that keeps going. And we are spirit, soul, and body. And I'm not going to give you a Science of Mind lecture because you saw, when you all came in, you saw that circle, right? That's above our foyer desk. And it's got, we call it the Science of Mind teaching symbol. And it's spirit, soul, body. And by the way, Ernest Holmes' soul is the law of mind. So that's how things come into be. That's the part of us that figures out what it's going to look like. And so this is a constant action that we all are. We never are outside of it. And when we realize that this, as long as we're here on this planet and doing this thing, we're always in action. And so it gives us a moment to pause and say, well, how am I utilizing this life and action, as he says? How am I using it? How am I using it? Because to be unconscious of it is to live a life where you're just in a repetitive wheel. And if you want to change your life, realize that you are life and action right where you are. That's huge. That's huge, and it's very powerful. Very powerful. And so this action to create, Ernest tells us how it works, and it is ours to use. It's who we are. It is a part of us. And so to engage in that process to create greater action in your life is ours to do. And he says this, no greater mistake could be made than to think we must separate life from what it does. We must unify and not divide. And one of the things I love about Science of Mind is it is all about unity. And as human beings, we have such a proclivity to want to just divide everything and say this is that and that is that, and just keep ourselves separate. And when we keep ourselves separate, we're not integrated with ourselves or with life. And if we can begin to see that it is all one thing, this life and what it does and this action, that it's right here in every part of our beingness. Every molecule is life in action. You might feel like you are paralyzed and just standing in inactivity like that Jeep that was stuck in the gorge. You might think that that's where you are because this world outside of yourself doesn't make sense anymore, or something's fallen apart and you don't know what to do and you're just sitting there going, now what? When you get to that place, if you ever get to that place, it is so important to remind yourself that you are in action. And when you're ready, step in and take hold of this creative process that you are. And go to the heart and ask it, what does it want to do? What does it want to do? It doesn't need to be this huge, gigantic thing where you're planning a world cruise. It could be, I just want to get up today and take a walk. Or I just want to make a phone call to somebody I haven't called in a while. This heart of ours, it's always trying to get our attention and get us to get in action to that which fulfills it. As you might know, I'm taking this advanced consciousness class with a few others that are in here. And there's this wonderful quote by Amit Goswami. I'm not sure the book is that wonderful, but the quote's really great. Actually, it's not a quote. You guys know what I'm saying. It's actually not a quote. It's what he says about life. He says, we're here to satisfy our souls. That's what it's all about. And I love that, to satisfy our souls. So the question to ask ourselves is, what is satisfying my soul? What does my soul want that will satisfy it? And just listen or feel the answer. The more we live in satisfying our souls, the more fulfilling life is going to be. And Ernest Holmes teaches us, really, it is all about the fulfillment of the soul and using this creative process that's right there, that we're always in, to use it to fulfill the soul. And so it's so important to ask ourselves every day, what does my soul want that will fulfill it? And this is what Science of Mind is all about. It really is. It's about fulfilling the soul. Fulfilling the soul. We have learned so much, and I can speak for myself, I've learned so much about depravity and needing to play it small, and, poverty is godliness. Those are such old tapes that are so useless, and they are not the truth of our being. To live a fulfilled life is a good life. It is a good life, and it is the life that we were born to live. And so the action to take is to fulfill yourself. Fulfill yourself. I am giving you permission to fulfill yourself. Fulfill your soul. Do what's calling you. And don't pay attention to the naysayers. We get really stuck in that. One of the biggest gorges in life is the people around us and what society thinks. That'll get you stuck. That'll get you stuck, right? It will get us stuck. And you know what? We don't, people are great, and some people have some great advice for us, but I'll tell you, the greatest advice for you lives right here. That is the greatest place for you to get your advice, because at the end of the day, and I get it, I ask my friends and family for their input, so to speak, on what I'm doing in my life, or something I'm thinking about doing, and I listen to it. But then I sit with it and I ask this, what do you think? Does that sound right? And this has the final say. This is the final authority. The soul, because it's who I am, and I'm here to live what it's satisfied with, what it wants me to do. And so that's the action. When we start there, we're going to have an amazing 2022. Cahill Gibran wrote this gorgeous quote, "Your daily life is your temple and your religion. When you enter into it, take with you your all." Don't just take part of you. Don't just take what you think people want to see from you. Take you. Take your soul. Because this thing called life is something that comes and it goes. This week, I actually had my first experience being with somebody as they were making their transition. And it really called to me that trite cliche from Dead Poets Society, Carpe Diem. As I saw her energy lift into another place, I realized you got to seize the day. You got to do your life, because someday you won't be in this place. And that's evolution. When I'm not here, I'm ready to go elsewhere. And so we want to live this life to the fullest by joining this wonderful place that we're all in together, and to stop being afraid of it and stop being afraid of each other, and just drop that and see each other soul to soul, heart to heart. Because when we take that first step and stop waiting for everybody else to cool down and see oneness, we have to be the ones that see the oneness first. We've got to be the ones that are unified together. We've got to be the ones that love only, right? It starts here. It starts here. It starts with all of you. We start that conversation. We start that radiance of energy. Because it doesn't take many people to start an evolution, to start a shift. And so as we do that with ourselves and know who we are and come from love and see everybody as doing the best that they can and come from love and compassion, we're moving all of this stuff outside of ourselves that we are walking in right now. It does start with us. And just seeing this life with new eyes, when you can see life through your heart and soul, when you can see it through that, you are making changes for yourself, and you're making changes to our whole entire world. And so it's time for us to just enter into this beautiful life. And so my last slide, I return back to my slide that Reverend Lori made for me. Thank you, Reverend Lori. She really spruced up what was a very plain slide into something very magical. If you can't see, this woman is in a field of sunflowers. They're beautiful. And I don't know if you know this about sunflowers. I just found out about it. Sunflowers pivot to the sun. So they're in this field, and wherever that sun is, the sunflower is turning towards it. And so my call to action to all of you is to be the sunflower in the field and follow the sun, which is your soul, and never take your focus off of it. Follow it, because when you are aligned with your soul, you are expressing you, and you are fulfilling yourself. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing for you to stay in. And so I wanted to bring forth a lyric from the song that was sung today. As long as I'm still in the game, I want to play for laughs, for life, for love. So here's to life and every joy it brings. Here's to life for dreamers and their dreams. May all your storms be weathered and all that's good get better. Here's to life, here's to love, and here's to you. And so I want to leave you with this. I started my talk about my mom and my experience. And that road with my mom was bittersweet, but it opened my heart and it brought great treasures into my soul. And this thing that we have in life is for us. It is for us. This is a gift that we have. And I think it's time for us to reevaluate our experiences and find the treasure within so that we engage in life with more courage and more gusto and more energy, and to see what's out here for us when we come from in here. And so just ask yourself, what fulfills me and fulfill it. Namaste. Thank you.